First call topics. I just got off the phone with a girl who called. She was a new lead. And right now in this video, what I want to do is go over most of the common questions that I get on a first call. What's up guys, Ryan from Premium Mortgage, and I wanted to go over real quickly all the different topics that I just had on a first call for a new client. There was a lead that came in looking to be a first-time home buyer, and I figured if she had all these questions, there's a lot of people like you that have the same questions, and maybe you're afraid to call us because you think that you're asking too many questions, and you're clearly not when you see all the questions that this girl asked. So I'm gonna kind of go through this quickly just so you can get a feel for it. First off, she is a first-time home buyer, and she said, what makes a first-time home buyer? Do you get any discounts or specials? Yes, there are some programs that people can go into. Maybe you can get some down payment assistance, but because you're a first-time home buyer doesn't mean you're getting like 10% off, or they're gonna give you a special interest rate that's like an introductory rate. It doesn't work like that, guys. First-time home buyers basically are people that can show that they don't have any previous mortgages on their credit, and or that you can tell that they're definitely buying their first house. They're looking to go through some sort of government assistance program, or maybe just some bank that has a program. That's typically what a first-time buyer is, but there isn't necessarily anything special. It does mean, though, that you don't have any previous mortgages on your credit report. Next, she was talking about credit, because that's the first thing we always ask about. And she said her credit wasn't that bad, but it wasn't that good. It was around 650. She had a couple charge-offs or a couple different collections from before, from in the past, and she wasn't really sure how that worked. So I kind of briefly explained to her how that does work and how they may impact her. One of the things that she says is, she goes, I don't have much credit. And in fact, all I have is one, a prepaid credit card for $500. And I said, okay. I said, well, why don't you have credit cards? And she says, because they're bad. And I said, they're not bad. I said, in fact, credit cards are the #1 tool for building good credit. Why? Because if you can take that $1,000 shiny little object in your hand and use it responsibly and not abuse it, the chance of them giving you more credit or a mortgage is a lot higher, because it shows that you are responsible and that you can manage that credit, okay? Then we said something about a tri-merge mortgage report. She says, what's that? When you pull your credit for a mortgage report, they pull Experian FICO 2, TransUnion FICO 4, and Equifax FICO 5. And she says, I didn't know anything about that. I'm like, well, there's 28 different FICOs. And she's like, I didn't know anything about that either. So briefly covered that. You don't have to know that. Just know that that's what they're pulling for a mortgage. She said she's also using FICO Boost. Can FICO Boost help you? Sure, it can help give you a couple points on things like your cell phone bill, your cable bill, or maybe some other utility bill. But at the end of the day, it's only going to help one score. It's not going to help. I think it's Experian Boost is the actual thing, but there's also one for Credit Karma. There's a couple different things. They help you a little bit, but overall, you still need to build a solid credit profile. Okay, in order to build a good credit score, you need to understand how the credit system works, which there is an actual system. It's really imperative that you understand how it works so that you can use it for your advantage. Next, we were talking about renting versus buying, because she was saying, should I even really buy or not? And I said, well, let me ask you, what are you paying in rent? $1,450 in the city of Philadelphia. $1,450, you can get a decent house. Besides the fact that they're going to pull your credit anyway if you go find a new place, the landlord's selling the building. If you go to a new place, they're going to pull your credit anyway. You're going to need down payment and deposit money, so you might as well just buy a house instead of paying rent, all right? The one thing that was a little bit of an issue for her, she has 1099 income. W-2 income, you just have to have been working for the last 2 years, showing W-2s for the last 2 years, and you have to make sure that it's been a solid 2 years, okay? When it comes to income, you have to have been working 2 years and having documented income. W-2 is simple. They will do verifications of employment. With a 1099, you own your own business. That means you have to have filed taxes for 2 years, and you have to show what your adjusted gross income is. If you made $50,000, but you write off 30, you actually only made $20,000. You didn't make $50,000. So it's important to understand what your adjusted gross income is if you're a 1099 employee or contractor. 2 years tax returns, and then she said where to look. This is what I recommend when you're looking to figure out where you want to buy and what you can buy, what you can afford, what you qualify for. What I'd always recommend is go to like Realtor.com, Trulia.com. I don't want to bring up Zillow right now because it's all over the news and the media. You can go look at properties on Zillow and on Trulia and Realtor.com. But there's a really good calculator that's on realtor.com. If you go to realtor.com, you scroll down a little bit, it'll say monthly payment. What you do is you drop that down and there's a nice calculator. You click edit, you go in there, you make sure that you're putting in a good interest rate, okay? So today that rate could be somewhere between 3 and 3.25, maybe 3 and 3.5 if you're going conventional. But you also want to look and make sure that you have accurate homeowners insurance. When I see properties in the city of Philadelphia and they have $63 for homeowners insurance, that's not happening, okay? I sold insurance for 17 years. I can tell you right now, if you're looking to insure a property in the city of Philadelphia, it's going to be a minimum of $100 to $125 in most cases. Sometimes it's going to be even more than that. But make sure you're playing with the calculator, looking to make sure that you're putting 3.5% or 5% down as your down payment, not 20% down. If you have 20% and you're putting 20% down, then that's fine, put that in there. If you're only putting 3% for conventional or up to 5% if it's not your first house, or 3.5% down FHA, make sure to plug those numbers in appropriately so that you're actually calculating what that monthly payment would be. So that you can compare and say, if she was paying $1,450 a month in rent, how much house can that help her buy? And then the last thing was, she said, if I qualify for $300,000, does that mean I have to buy a $300,000 house? No. Yes, we make more money the higher that loan amount is. But what we want you to do is buy a house that you feel comfortable in, one that you're going to be able to afford on a regular basis, even if maybe something happens, something that you can see yourself living in. Doesn't have to be the max amount. In fact, I tell people, don't go for the max qualifying amount unless you need to. Now, she has a fiance, they're probably going to work together, so it's going to be even easier for her. But these are all the simple questions or complex questions like credit, which is really complex, and 1099 income, which is complex sometimes. These are all the questions that she asked all on her first phone call. And yes, that was about a 35-minute phone call, but it was really good for both of us because I got to understand what people like her are thinking, what questions she has, and she learned all this information, and she said, man, I feel like I should have paid you for that session. That means we did our job. And again, that's the difference with Premium Mortgage, is that we want to take our time to invest into you so that you feel comfortable. Buying a house is one of the biggest financial decisions most of you will ever make, and we want to hold your hand through that whole process, making sure that you feel comfortable, that you don't feel overwhelmed, and that the anxiety doesn't ruin the experience for you. All right, I hope you guys found that helpful. If you have any questions, if you want to have your own call, consultation, give us a call, send us a message, shoot us an email. We're here to help you guys. We're here to invest in you so that you too can buy your first house and have memories created for you and your family. All right, love you guys. Have a great day.